Hello and welcome to the very first episode of The Digital Show. My name is Jason LeBas. I'm the Digital Bro and also the CEO and founder of Bonsai Media Group, a digital marketing agency here in Seattle, Washington. And I've been in the digital marketing space for over 17 years. So I've seen everything from Flash to QR codes to HTML5 and everything in between. And on this show, I'm gonna be giving you guys tips and tricks and different apps and different tools that I've used to make life in the digital space easier and more efficient. All right, so in today's episode, we'll be talking about the top 5 keys to creating an optimized site architecture, not just for your users, but also for search engines. A website architecture is the equivalent of a blueprint for a house. A blueprint for a house is going to define the number of rooms, how people are going to navigate through that house. And a website architecture is the exact same thing, but for a website. So it's going to define the pages and how those pages are all structured together. And you can engineer your site architecture to be optimized not only for search engines, but also for users. And happy users mean happy clients because they're going to buy more stuff. So. Really, let me boil it down to what you actually need to know. You need to know a little bit about the person, like what is their role. You also need to know like how technically savvy are they? Are they a neophyte or are they a power user? And then you really need to know what are their goals coming to the site. They want to find somebody who can meet their need, or you also need to find out what questions and concerns they have. And by knowing these things, you can optimize your site architecture and your pages to answer those questions. And then the next thing that's really important to know is what functions and what content do they want to look at, or are they looking to do on your site. You know these things, and you can really start to engineer your site in such a way that it's going to really make those personas or those people, those key stakeholders using your site happy. This example, we're going to take a look at a company called 2020 Lifestyles. It's a weight loss program. And when they came to us, they had 5 different websites. And each site is branded slightly differently. There's different navigational structures. And so you can see how, from a user's perspective, it's going to be really confusing. And so we'll then go in and look at, okay, how do people actually, once they get there, navigate through to achieve the goal on the site. And so you get to the home page here, and if you wanted to get started, it's not extremely clear as to how you would do that. If you guess 2020 programs, good for you. Even better for you if you guess that you're supposed to click on this little seminar link, and that's how you get started. So as you can see, it's really important that we make very easy, very descriptive navigational elements that help users continue down the path of converting. Similarly to this one, if you were to guess where to go, if you thought help, well, good on you. I would never have guessed that. And even once you get to the packages here, they're left with, no real call to actions, and they're left asking, now what? Which is not what we want. Well, the first thing we did was make a very clear and easy to use navigation. So you'll see from the home page that they can go to Get Started, and from Get Started to In Club and Online, and they can go through and accomplish the goals that they have on the site. But we took those 5 websites and combined it into one, which sounds like a lot, but you can see in the top navigation, we're answering the persona's question of, well, why is this going to be different than any other weight loss program I've tried and failed at? And so we answer that question with why it works. We have Get Started. It's very clear as to where the users should go to get started. We have our success stories, our resources and tools full of recipes and all sorts of good stuff. So really keeping that persona, that key stakeholder in mind, and building out the site accordingly. Without getting into all the specifics that go into it, a couple things to keep in mind is that if there's not a page on your site specific to a keyword, you're never going to be found for it. And so that's how that affects the site architecture. And then once you have that, Make sure that you're only targeting between 2 and 3 keywords per page. You want to be really specific to that searcher's request. And here's just a quick example for you. So if you look up, let's say New York answering service, we're gonna see that in the organic results, Sound Telecom shows up right here. We're also gonna see that they show up in the map results, even though they're not in New York. That'll be in another video. And then we have San Francisco answering service. Again, you'll see that they show up in the maps, again, even though they're not there. And then they also show up organically. And so that wouldn't have been possible if their site architecture wasn't built in a way that would allow them to be found for those terms. It's a really important thing that I like to do on every single project is, not only look at my client's website or the website I'm about to build, but also look at the competitors. How are they talking to their personas? What pages do they have on their site? I think there can be a lot of things that you can glean, whether they're good or bad, in evaluating your competitors. It's good to know where they're at, because if they're zigging, you can zag. Wireframing is going to inform a lot. It's going to help you understand how that site architecture is actually going to be used by users. So it's a really important step in building your site architecture. So you'll see we'll go from, building out a few site architecture options, some different button looks, different nav items, and I'll continue to go through this process to look at how that navigation and how that homepage hero might look and how that's going to inform our site architecture. And I'm always going back to each of my personas, each of the target markets. Like, how's Jim going to navigate through this site? How's Susie going to navigate through this site? And if you kind of go through this process and if you follow these steps, not only are you going to be able to drive more traffic through search engine optimization, but you're going to get your visitors to the site to convert more, which is what we're all looking for. So if you enjoyed this video, please like it, please share it, please subscribe to our channel here. And if you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comment section below, and I'll be sure to jump on and answer those questions for you. This has been Jason LeBaugh for the Digital Show. Please check in next week for our next episode.